Okay, welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to look at compound interest. I'm going to say what a compound interest is, and I'm also going to show you how you can find compound interest. Okay, so a compound interest is the interest that you gain from your interest as well as the principal. Okay, so compound interest, this is the interest on interest. So this is the interest you gain from the interest. So if you invest the money, and then when you invest the money, then the money gains interest. That means the money invested was the principal, and the money you earned is the interest. Now in the second term, you're going to earn interest from the principal as well as from the interest you earned. So when you are given a compound interest, that means you are told to say, or what is there is that you start earning money from your principal, and the interest the principal will be making. So as the days goes on, the principal is your money you invested plus the interest you have gained. Together they will start making money for you. Okay, for you to understand this fully, let's look at this example. Hilda invested 150,000 kwacha in her saving account at an interest rate of 4% per year. Find the interest Hilda earned in 3 years. Now you should remember that we are looking at compound interest. So that's what we're going to find. So the formula we're going to use is the same formula we used in the previous video when we were looking at simple interest. Is interest is equal to principal multiplied by interest rate multiplied by time. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to draw a table below here. Okay, and in the first column, that will be at the end of. The second column will be interest for a particular year, then principal plus interest, then the new principal. Okay, so let me start with the first column, which is at the end of. So we are going to be calculating the principal or the interest at the end of a certain year. Now in the question we are told that you invested the money in the bank for 3 years and the interest rate was 4%. So what we're going to do, we are going to start with how much did she earn in the first year. So we're going to write 1 there at the end of the first year. Okay, so at the end of 1 year, how much did she earn? Now let's calculate the interest. So just like we did in the previous video, we're going to calculate the interest she earned in the first year. So we're going to put the principal, which is 150,000 kwacha, multiplied by 4. Now remember, I've ignored percent because I'm going to divide 4 by 100. Then multiply by 1, then the whole lot of that multiplied by 100. So this 100 is coming down here because of the percent. The percent, when we write 4 over 100, that means we have written 4%, because percent means out of 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel what is found on top and what is found down. So now, as you can see, we can see zeros at the end of numbers. So there are 2 zeros at the end of 100, and there is 4 zeros at the end of 150. So we are going to cancel the 2 zeros down and 2 zeros on top. Okay, then we're going to say 1 into 1,500 kwacha will go 1,500 kwacha, then which we are going to multiply by 4, then later on by 1. Then we're not going to write over any number because down there we have made with nothing. There was 1 which we have divided, which we have used to divide 1,500 kwacha. We have divided 1,500 kwacha by 1. So now we're going to start multiplying. So we'll say 1,500 times 4 will give us 6,000, which will multiply by 1, which will be 6,000 multiplied by 1 will give us 6,000. So this is the interest Hilda made in the first year. Now what we're going to do, we want to find the new principal Hilda will invest in the second year. So we're going to add the principal she invested, the principal she invested plus the interest she made. Okay, so she invested 150,000 kwacha. Then she made the interest of 6,000. That is the 150,000 kwacha she invested, the one of second on top there. Then she made the interest of 6,000, the one of second down here. Then we add those. Okay, then when we add that, it's going to give us 156,000 kwacha. That was the money in the account at the end of the first year. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to find the interest and the new principal she had at the end of the second year. So we're going to write second year there, year 2, at the end of year 2. Then what we're going to do, we're going to use 156, the one of second there, 156,000 kwacha as the principal for the second year. So which I'm going to write there, because this is the money which was in Hilda's bank account. Then the bank was offering Hilda 4%, which we're going to multiply by 4%, an interest of 4%. Then here again, we're going to multiply by 1, not by 2, because it's a second year. No, we are just looking at this second year as just an individual year. So we're going to multiply by 1. Then the O of that over 100. Okay, then we're going to do as we did earlier on. We're going to cancel the zeros, so the 0 down and the 2 zeros up there. Okay, then we're going to multiply 1,560 by 4, which will give us, we are going to divide 1,560 divided by 1, which will be 1,560 again. Then we're going to multiply by 4, then by 1. Okay, then we say 1,560 multiplied by 4 will give us 6,240. Then we are going to multiply by 1. Then when we multiply that, it's going to give us 6,240. Then what we're going to do now here, we're going to find out how much money now Hilda has in her account. So we're going to add the principal that we used in the second year plus the interest she gained. Okay, the principal she had at the beginning of the second year, which was 156,000 kwacha. Then the interest she made in that particular year, which is the second year, which is 6,240. So we're going to add that. Then it's going to give us this. This was the amount in Hilda's account by the end of the second year, and the amount was 162,240 kwacha. Okay, now let's find the amount you have at the end of the third year. Okay, so that is the third year. So what we're going to use, the money she has now in the account. Hilda now has this amount in her account, because at the end of the year, this is the amount she had. So at the beginning of the year, she will have that. What means here is that when this is being calculated, it's calculated at the end of the year, that is at 31st December of that particular year into 1st January of the another year. So it's just calculated today, tomorrow the other year starts. So the amount she had in her account on the 31st December of that year was that, and that is the money which went into the other year. So she had, in her account, she had, at the beginning of the third year, she had 162,000 kwacha, 240, then multiply by the interest rate, which is 4%, and multiply by 1, because we're just looking at that particular third year, just 1 year, the third year. So we are going to write over 100. This 100 is coming from the percent, so it's 4 over 100. So if you know how to deal with fractions, that means 100 will deal with all the numerators, because even if we are to change 162,000 kwacha 240 into a fraction, it will be over 1, and the same one for the year will be over 1. So when you multiply 1 by 100 by 1, it will give us 100. So that's where it's coming from. So to understand that fully, you need to have the basic knowledge of fractions. Okay, now once we have done that, what we're going to do, we're going to cancel. You can see on top we just have 1 0 at the end, and down we have 2 zeros. So we'll cancel out 1 zeros. So we'll cancel 1 0 on top and 1 0 down. Then down will remain with 10. Now because of that, I'm going to multiply 162, not 100, I'm going to multiply 16,224 by 4, which will give us that, which is 64,896. Then multiply by 1, then the whole of that divided by 10. Okay, because that's what we are remaining with down there, it's 10. Then we're going to multiply 64,896 by 1 will give us 64,896. The whole of that divided by 10. Then we are going to divide. The reason I've gone up to this far with the 10 is because I don't want to do with the decimal numbers. They might be confusing to me as well as to you. So I just want to have the final answer as a decimal number. So when you divide that, it will going to give us that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to round off this figure 6,489.6 to a nearest whole number. So that means I don't want to do with decimal numbers, so it's going to be now after I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that and that. Okay, I'm going to round it off in the next stage. So when I'm going to write this one, I've rounded off the interest we found for the particular year. I've rounded off to a nearest whole number, which he has given us 6,490. Then when we add that and that, it's going to give us, that is the amount, the new principal he would have had at the end of the third year. Okay, now the question is, he would have invested 150,000 kwacha in her saving account at an interest rate of 4% per year. Find the interest he would end in 3 years. So what we're going to do is we are going to get this amount she had at the end of 3 years. That is the amount was in her account at the end of 3 years. Then we are going to write it down there. Then we are going to subtract the amount she invested at the beginning of first year. We have gotten the amount she had at the end of the third year, and then from that amount we are going to subtract the amount she invested at the beginning of first year, which is that one, the one I've circled in the statement on top there. He would have invested 150,000 kwacha. So we're going to say minus that. Then when you subtract that, it's going to give you the difference of 18,730 kwacha. That is the interest she earned in 3 years. She had made 18,730 kwacha. Therefore, he would earn an interest of 18,730 kwacha in 3 years. So this is the compound interest he would have made in 3 years. If you watched our video, you see that he would just made 30,000 in 5 years. When we were calculating simple interest, we used the same example. If you didn't watch that video, you can check in the description. I've put the link there, so you can see the difference. If we calculate using simple interest, you may find that you won't earn 18,000, there will be no 730 on top. But with compound interest, there is an extra of 730 kwacha. So compound interests are good when you're investing, and they are bad when you're getting a loan, because they do a disadvantage to you when you get a loan which is calculated on compound interest. So if you find a loan given and they are telling you that they are using the simple interest, go for it. It's better than the loan given where they calculate the interest using compound interest. Okay, but when you're investing, go for a bank that is offering compound interest and not simple interest. When you go for a loan, go for the one which is offering simple interest. When you go for an investment, go for the one which is offering compound interest. Thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning Z mathematics. The future is bright. God bless you. See you in the next video.